Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Hi friends, and welcome to another recommendations video. This one is going to be an additional Fated Mates video. I have made this a couple times before, so I'll link those videos up here. There's a lot of ones that I have multiples of, so that'll be fun. And then if you want to stick around after the recommendations, I do have a box from Try Treats to open. They send me these, I think, like every other month or so, and there will be a discount code available for you down there. They don't pay me for these, they send me the box as it, so it's not really sponsored by them, but it's also fun to open it for you guys, so stick around for that. So a question I got asked in one of my live shows with my channel members the other day is, I was actually already planning this video too, and I thought this would be a great thing to answer before. Someone asked me the difference between like fated mates and soulmates and star-crossed lovers. Now, star-crossed lovers I consider like a totally different thing, because star-crossed lovers, it usually means that there is, you know, they're kind of along the lines of like right person, wrong time, or you're from warring families, or you're, you know, different times, right? Think of like Jamie and Claire's star-crossed lovers or something like that. So I consider that kind of in another like category. Not that there can't be overlapping things, but to me, and again, this is my definition, this isn't any official definition anywhere, because I do think that a soulmate is often a fated mate, but not all fated mates might be soulmates. I don't know, however we want to do this. But when I think of a fated mate, I usually mean one that like there is a paranormal or fantasy reason that like this person is your other half, right? So, you know, a mate bond like in ACOTAR, or, you know, recognizing your mate for like werewolves or something like that. So that's what I think of when I think of fated mate. Like there is actually a physical, biological pairing, and when you find that person, everything clicks into place, right? And then I kind of categorize soulmates as not necessarily having to be magical. Maybe it's just you find the person that like is your pairing somehow, and there isn't necessarily magical. It's just, you know, soulmates, it just feels like more than just how it is. So that one I consider more kind of like an intangible type thing, whereas like when I'm talking about fated mates, I'm usually mean like there literally is a biological connection. That being said, for this like list I'm making, I do have two on this list that I would consider more soulmates than fated mates, and I will tell you about them when I get there. I have made, I believe, a video before where I did split it like 50-50 between fated mates and soulmates, so there was some contemporary couples. But for the most part, like I said, I have two that are contemporary couples that I wanted to give in as an example, and then the rest are going to be like paranormal wise. So let's go ahead and dive into these that we have. So the first one up is a book that I just read, I think at the tail end of February I read this, and that was Castles of Nevers and Nightmare by Lana Perchek. So this is a spin-off series from the Longing of Lone Wolves, right? So the Fae Guardians. So I've mentioned that series in a different video, but this is actually the start of a new series. There will be cliffhangers in these ones because it's going to be all about the same relationships, right? So this one is actually a Why Choose? And our heroine Willow is actually the daughter of one of the previous Fae Guardians, and then her mates are the Hive, aka the Slua, aka these six like bogeyman type characters, and they are fated mates. She is meant to be their queen. She is meant to, you know, they're supposed to have kind of this symbiotic relationship. In the start of this story, so our heroine had been told by them since she was young, they could speak to her in her mind, and she knew that she had these fated mates. Well, then something went horribly wrong, and there was other entities that decided to fuck with their fates, and so she now hates them, and there's been a curse that's been put on the six, and only one of them even knows that she's their fated mate anymore, and the rest of them have kind of been cursed with like memory loss, which is this horribly tragic thing, and they're also not able to connect mind to mind the way they could before, because part of the reason they're called the Hive is that they're like 6 beings but also one at the same time. So it's a bit confusing to explain, but I greatly enjoyed this story. I'm not someone who always loves Why Choose. That's not usually the first type of story that I reach for. But there was just something about how this was set up, and I'm sure part of it is that it's a spin-off from a world I already love, but I was so engaged in this, and when the end of this book came, I wanted the next one right away. But I really want to make sure that Lana wants to keep writing this series, so I'm going to push you guys towards it, even though I know there's a cliffhanger. I still felt so like satisfied with like the progress we made in that book that yes, I was sad I couldn't immediately read the next one. But I also just really loved what I'd read. So I'll have a link to this down below. I'll have a link to all these books so you can go and snag them on Amazon if you'd like to. Okay, next I do have these 2 books that I said that are more like soulmates. So the first one I want to mention is The Lovely Return by Carrie Ann Cole. Now this one has like reincarnation as a setting. So this one I would consider kind of fated mates. That's why I put it in here, is that it's never explicitly called magical. And, you know, honestly, there are plenty of religions, plenty of beliefs that believe that reincarnation is a thing that happens. But there's this very beautiful relationship in here where this couple, he loses his wife on the day that his daughter's born, and he's this very sad and lonely man. And then when his daughter is still very young, this girl moves in next door who just feels like she knows him, and there's things she knows about him that he never told her. And so she actually like visits him many times when she's not supposed to, wanting to be close to him. And it's very difficult for him to, you know, get her to stop coming over. But there's just this connection they can't quite explain. And as she gets older and grows up, things become a little clearer about what is going on with them. So this one was very angsty. This is very hard. This one does have trigger warnings for like mental health and some struggles the heroine goes through. But I also thought it was a really beautiful story. Like, I can't deny it was beautiful, even if it wasn't quite for me. And I would consider this couple soulmates or fated mates just based on that reincarnation element, that like that soul is meant to be with the other soul, if that makes sense. So then the other one I put in here, and again, I'm not calling this a soulmate or fated mate 1000%. I just feel like it fits this, and you totally leave it up to you, right? These recommendations are always only my opinions anyway, right? Like what I feel fits in it. But I decided to put Butcher and Blackbird in this category because there's just something about these 2 serial killers who go after the worst serial killers, and it just feels like fate when they meet, because they actually meet in a crime scene where our heroine, Sloane, has killed a serial killer, but then got trapped in one of his traps with him. So literally, like, he is decomposing and she's stuck with him. Now, Rowan, he happens to come along and he was tracking down this serial killer at the same time, and he finds her in this trap. And so he lets her out, and he's actually a big, like, fanboy of hers. So she, of course, is very wary of him, doesn't know what to think of him. And over the next few years, they actually play this kind of game with each other where they will see who can take down a certain like killer first. So there's that. But they're just, like I said, this is totally my opinion. There just was kind of this crazy connection that it felt like it was more than normal, right? Because this very specific type of thing that they are both doing. And, you know, how else were they going to find a romantic interest who they'd be able to be themselves with, but finding another, like, serial killer to be with? So, I don't know. For me, like I said, my opinion, I'm putting them here. So, yeah, this is great. I can't wait for Leather and Lark to come out. I pre-ordered that one. I can't wait. This was a fantastic read. I enjoyed it so much, so I highly recommend. Okay, then we have nope, I'm not holding that one. Hoarded by the Dragon by Lillian Lark. I wanted to have this one for this video because one of my friends did send it to me for my birthday, and then Amazon never delivered it, so that's sad. But thank you, Tara, for the thoughtful gift. I'll get it eventually. It bugs me. So Hoarded by the Dragon is a part of the like bathhouse romance series. It's a fated mate series, and I've talked about this one quite a lot, and I want you to read it. So it is like number 4 or 5 in a series, but each one of these you can absolutely read as a standalone, but the whole series does have fated mates, so you can start wherever you want. But this is my favorite so much, and it starts with this thief who is the heroine who breaks into a dragon's hoard to steal something, and she gets caught, and he happens to be going through a heat when he catches her, and so she makes a deal to get him to, you know, let her leave without like turning her in. She will let him breed her all night, and he's not supposed to be able to get anyone pregnant but his mate, but he is actually a like widower dragon, and there are very few dragons, and you're only supposed to have one mate, and he did have a mate before, like it wasn't a fake connection, but somehow this woman is his mate, and she actually ends up with a surprise pregnancy the next day after this. So they definitely are fated mates in many ways. And I loved where this one went. There was a lot of healing in this. There was a lot of beautiful scenes because, you know, he's a very hurt and lonely creature because he lost his mate. He lost a child as well. There's a trigger warning for that. It's very sad. And, you know, so he has this new mate, and he almost like really wants to reject that because he doesn't want to risk the pain again of losing a mate, but also you have this mate and she's pregnant now, so what are we gonna do? So I really enjoyed that one. Okay, next up, I've just been sharing this one in a lot of videos lately, and I don't care because I love it, and I love this copy of the book too, actually. So this is Soul to Keep by Opal Rain. You probably know it by the other cover with the Dustwalker on the front, but I actually love this cover so much. So this series is a fated mate series, and it is about these Dustwalkers who, they're really these quite vicious beasts who eat humans to gain their intelligence, which is so fascinating. It's fascinating, okay? But it is a very violent story, but they are still always looking for love. And if a Dustwalker does actually find love, they will be able to find this being that they make their own, and then that will be someone that they're not like drawn to kill them or hurt them the way that they are with other people. It's so hard to explain this, and if you guys just don't understand, but this one starts with a woman, I forgot her name, Rhea, who gets given to this Dustwalker, Orpheus I think is his name, as a companion in exchange for him to do a protection spell for this village. The person who gets given to him is supposed to be a volunteer, but they basically tell her, if you don't volunteer, we're going to kill you anyway, because they don't trust her, they don't like her, they think that she's a bad omen. And so she's like, well, fine, fuck you guys. And so she goes, and now she's in this situation with this monster, and it's terrifying for her because the place that he takes her to live in his home, like, he's not even the only dangerous thing that's there. Like, there's so much. But once we get into like how a mate gets found and like what it is, it's great. I binged. I still have the newest one to read because damn, my schedule has been full, but like this book, y'all, this series, I binged it so quick. I loved it. Loved it, loved it. Then there's one that actually comes out, I think the day you're going to get this video, but if not, it will be very soon, so you can go and snag it. It's by an author I'd never heard of before, but one of my Instagram buddies posted this cover of Jumping the Shark by Ash Raven, and I needed it, okay? So I immediately signed up for the ARC, and the author was actually like just sending out the ARCs, and so I got it in my hands, and this is a novella length. This is very spicy, but absolutely delicious. Okay, there's no other way to say it. It's absolutely delicious. And it is a alien like dating thing, only the humans don't know that it's aliens that they're being courted by. So there's like this dating app, and they're getting to know, and for the first date, this series is called First Date Abductions. And so our shark here, which I think Maxon is his name, he has been communicating with this heroine through their app, and then when they go on their first date, he wears this like body changer so he looks like a human man, and they just connect so well, and he can tell that she's his mate. And so they go out to the parking lot, and she thinks she's like inviting him back to her place because she's just feeling the vibes with him, and he actually bites her, and she's his mate, so he's like marked her. And then he puts her to sleep and puts her in cryo sleep or under, and he takes her to his home planet and then explains to her what he did and that she's his mate and that he's going to take the bestest care of her that she can even imagine. And he does. And she's honestly not too upset about it. So they do their diligence of like the people that are on this app, like, do they have lots of family? You know, they are like kind of careful who they match people with so that they won't be missed, which in general could be very nefarious in a lot of situations. But in this one, it's actually very sweet how much care that they take, you know? So love it. Okay, then we have Howl for the Gargoyle by Catherine Moon. This is book 2 in the Monster Smash series. So the first one is actually Games with the Orc, and I believe I've had that one on a different Fated Mate one. But the Monster Smash agency is a monster escort service. That's what it is. So like the orc in the previous one, the gargoyle in this one, they are escorts, and they get paired with people who have the fantasies of fucking monsters. And that's a lot of what the first one was, is that heroine had a lot of dirty, naughty feelings and wanted to fuck a monster. And so she was paired with this orc, and they spend a week just living out all her sexual fantasies. It was great. Anyway, side note. This one, the heroine actually has kind of a different reason. So she, not too long ago, was actually turned into a werewolf against her will. And she's actually the lead singer, I believe, in a band. And something that's been very tough for her, Hannah's her name, is that she can no longer really have like safe sex, and not safe as in birth control sex. She can no longer have like safe sex with human men because she gets very aggressive when she's having sex, and she is very afraid of hurting someone. She does not want to do that or lose control. But during the full moon, she is extremely horny, and that's what the wolves want to do, is they want to fuck. And she's really been kind of like torturing herself because she's been locking herself away. You can actually go to these werewolf hotels during the full moon and have yourself basically like chained up in a safe place, right? But she hears from a friend that there are certain monsters that it's safe to fuck them when you're in this state. And one of those types is actually a gargoyle because they have stone skin. So it doesn't mean that they never feel pain, but he can like go stone, and then it is a lot harder for her to hurt him. So they end up pairing with each other once to try this out, and they have a really good time together. It's very awkward to start, right? It's very cute though. And then eventually she just wants to meet with him every time for her full moon time. And there's also a little bit of like, he doesn't mind being submissive sometimes. And when she's feeling more wolfy, like she gets very like, she's a very like alpha female on him. And so there's some pretty hot scenes. There's pegging in this one. But it also isn't one where he's like super submissive if you don't want that. Because I know what it's like. Sometimes we want pegging, but we still want the man to be able to be, you know, what we want him to be as well. But this was a really beautiful relationship. They're both pretty awkward. But also in Catherine Moon's, there's not a ton of like third act conflict happening. It's more like situational, or sometimes it's misunderstanding, but it's like the cute kind where they don't think the other person could love them as much as they're into them, so they're afraid that they're like too invested type stuff. I think that's cute. I'm okay with it. So highly recommend. All right, then we have Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which I'm sure y'all have been just having shoved down your throat. I know I have, but I did read an arc of this, and I did have a good time. So I wanted to share it on here so that if some of you, you know, I sound so cocky, but if some of you were waiting for my opinions, I did enjoy this. The thing I say about it is that to me, this is really kind of like an intro to Fated Mates, kind of like an intro to some like, paranormal state, which is okay because Ali Hazelwood's normal, you know, her normal demographic, they're reading contemporary romances, maybe not reading paranormal. But this is in this world where vampires and werewolves are enemies. That's often a thing, and the humans are kind of like caught in the middle sometime. And so she is a vampire, and she gets given to the werewolves as a like treaty. And so she gets married off to a werewolf pack leader, and one of his pack is given to a vampire as like a bride as well, I think, or as partner or whatever. So that they basically have like hostages on each side, you know, but it's like an alliance marriage. And so she moves to this place where she's just like, everybody hates her, even her mate, who that's, you know, this is a fated mate one, and any of you who've read any paranormal will see the signs, but it's also supposed to be like this surprise that they're fated mates. And I'm sorry if that's ruining it, but if you've read any paranormal, if you've read any werewolf, like, you know what's going on. It's our heroine who's a vampire who like doesn't see what's going on. And we do get some of the hero's point of view, but most of it's from hers. So she doesn't know what's going on. And she doesn't understand why he's so hot and cold with her. So I thought it was a good start to a series, actually. There's more planned, and I had a good enough time with it. I really did like the heroine. She was pretty sassy, and, you know, people are just hating on her, and she'll just, like, snap back of, like, yeah, what the fuck, man? I don't know. I liked her a lot. I had a good time with her. So I do recommend. Then I have the... oh, I can't remember the name of this series, actually. But I have Wed to the Lich and Wed to Jack Frost. This is a part of this, like, alien or monster matchmaking series again, or, like, it's more monsters than aliens, where humans basically have to, like, sell themselves into matchmaking to pay off debt that they owe. And so there's these different women who are doing that. And so, like, two of the ones I liked the most was actually Wed to the Lich, which is kind of like a, I mean, well, you see what he looks like. It's a bit scary looking. And he gets this bride. And this one does deal with some, like, eating disorder stuff, but I found this hero to be so gentle and loving with her. It was so beautiful, and he's just like afraid she won't like him, and she just likes him so much. Like, it's that type of thing. And then there's Wed to Jack Frost, and this one of course came out in the winter, and this one was kind of fun because he doesn't mean to be getting matched with someone. He kind of got tricked into it, and now he doesn't want a match, but like his family wants him to, and so he like doesn't want to do it. And the woman is like, well, I gave up everything I had for this match, like, you can't just back out. And so there's a lot of like back and forth between them, and he ends up bringing her home, and like his family all likes her. This one also has a little bit of, he's a little bit submissive for her sometimes. I really like some of those scenes, but there's a whole series that has this. I really preferred the ones by Layla Faye. Again, I only read one by one of the other authors, and it just didn't work. So I honestly didn't try more, but that's on me. I know a lot of people like them all. And yeah, this one is fated mates as well. With these arranged marriages, there's a lot of like mates being found as well. And then the last one I want to bring up is actually a Omegaverse fan fiction. And this one is called All You Want by Sin-Len Yu. Again, the same author of Manacled, soon to be Alchemized. And this one is honestly my favorite Omegaverse I've ever read. I've shared that. I've struggled with Omegaverse. I've read both ones, I've read reverse harem ones, and I've just never really clicked with Omegaverse. But this one is an MF, and it's Hermione and Draco, of course. And a lot of times when you read like fan fiction Omegaverse, it's one of them, usually the Omega, here being Hermione, finding out that they're an Omega for the first time and not knowing what to do. And so in this case, she goes into her first heat when she's at school, and so all of the alphas, she's like fair game for all of these alphas because she's never been marked by anyone before. And so she ends up pairing up with Draco, and during her heats, he will breed her, and then she will have his scent on her, so the other alphas will back off, hopefully. But then, of course, as is the case, she starts having feelings for him, but thinks he's only fucking her out of obligation, and he starts having feelings for her, and he thinks she's only fucking her because she is in heat and needs it. So, miscommunications in that, but it's all really cute, and I love this one. And I do recommend this one if you like fan fiction, but you're nervous about Omegaverse. Honestly, it's done super well. It was really fun. Or if you just loved Hermione, this one was great. I loved it so much. So those are my recommendations for Fated Mates. Again, check out the other playlists if you want to, or I do have the links for everything down below. But now I'm going to transition into opening my try treats here. And you, like I said, can find their link down below for getting yourself your own box. You can get 15% off your first box. And let's see which country I got. I did open this part. But let's see what I got. Ooh, so here's my snacks. I got Peru this time. So we got Peru here. Here's a little postcard. So that's cool. Have all our little snacks. So what I do when I open these is I share all the snacks. I have this little card where I read what is on it. And then I like to try 3 snacks and tell you which one's my favorite. I like doing that. So that's what I'm going to do here. Okay? Okay. So this first one are these little vanilla cookies, it looks like. I don't try to say the names because I'm not a masochist. But these are lightly flavored vanilla biscuits that are great for coffee. And they are a snack that all Peruvians appreciate, it says. This looks cute. Maybe a little bit like those vanilla cookies. Ooh, this one is called Casino. Called Casino there. Let's see, where is this one? Okay, this is Casino Lucuma. Lucuma. Yeah, see, I'm sorry. They are a crunchy Peruvian cookies with the flavor of the lucuma fruit, a superfruit that is indigenous to Peru, was also known as the gold of the Incas for its healing properties. Wow. Yeah, because these are a sandwich cookie. That's kind of cool. All right, then there is this one that says Field on it. It looks like a wafer cookie. This one, is called a Kua Kua. Okay, this is a Kua Kua wafer. So it's a wafer biscuit coated in chocolate. And it has a cute duck mascot. Looks pretty basic right there. Ooh, these look like some soda crackers. Those could be good with some soup. These are artisanal cookies, but they look like a cracker basically. We give it the best. We give Soda Field. So these are soda crackers, I assume, that are like, doesn't say what flavor they are. It says they're artisanal cookies, but they look like soda crackers to me. The Field brand seems to be very popular. Okay, there is Sublime. This is from Nestle. So this is a flavored chocolate bar filled with crushed peanuts. The sweet taste of chocolate is balanced against the saltiness of peanuts. I can't hold it. This one looks good. Okay, then there's another thing from Field, but this one is called Doria Peppa, and it has like sprinkles all over it. Or Donna Peppa, it's an N there. Doña Peppa is a Peruvian cookie coated in chocolate and sprinkles. It's a very traditional cookie and was created in the 18th century for the annual Lord of Miracles ceremony. That looks like a fun cookie. Okay, there are some margarita cookies here. These ones are crunchy and delicious. They're named after the margarita flower and are etched with that design on the front. So it doesn't say what flavor they are. Maybe they're just a plain cookie. Cool. Okay, something else from Field. This one is Coronita. And, okay, these ones are chocolate sandwich cookies, which look similar to maracas. Oh, okay, okay. They're considered 2 of the most popular cookies in Peru. Okay, whoa. Picadas. These are big circles here. Look at those. There's like 2 big circles in there. mascaras. Where's this one? I'm not finding these ones. I did have a note on the front that said if there's anything you don't see, it might be a bonus cookie. So let me double check, but I think this might be my bonus cookie because I'm not seeing it, but the other things I am. So there's also the maracha. So these are the 2 cookies they say are the most popular ones. And these ones, I found it. It's not named the same way. So this is galleta, which means cookies in Spanish. They're a ring-shaped Peruvian cookie that are partially coated with chocolate and filled with chocolate cream. Ooh. So there we found it. The one that's extra is, this one is not on my list, but they sent me some prawn crackers, which I've actually had these put in a box before because they, like I said, they send you bonus cookies sometimes. So there's 10 different treats, and then this one was a bonus, so that's cool. So let us try a couple of these. A lot of these are all really cookies, so I don't want to like open too many. What should we do? Okay, let's try the Sublime. This is supposed to have peanuts inside the chocolate. Ooh, it smells good. It's a milk chocolate. Very smooth chocolate. I was expecting it to feel like kind of waxy and cheap sometimes, you know. Very smooth. Let's try actually one of these soda crackers, because I'm actually about to have lunch after this, and I might eat these with some meat and cheese. And I don't want to only try the sweet things. Okay, so these break up into, they kind of look like a saltine, which is like soda cracker. They have a very buttery taste for just looking like a plain cracker, right? Like, you know, like a saltine just kind of tastes like air and salt. This has like a mild buttery flavor, which I like. Okay, what else should I try? It's all sweets. I want to try something. Let's do the most popular cookie, because they said that this is the most popular cookie in Peru. So let's do that, so that I can get the best of the best. Ooh. Actually, there we go. These are very thin. There's chocolate inside. Wow. I get why these are a favorite. This is so good. Wow. Yeah, definitely tastes like the vanilla of the cookie. And then the chocolate is so good. Well, these are my favorite for sure. Like, not even exaggerating. I would pick these as my favorite. Then I would actually pick this cracker. I know that it's so plain, but like, I'm genuinely going to eat this whole pack of these with my lunch I'm about to make. And I just like a good cracker sometimes. Like, a lot of these boxes always have like sweets, because sweet snacks are the easiest thing. And I really like that. And then there's this chocolate, which is perfectly tasty. Honestly, all 3 of these are things that I will like eat them for sure. And yeah, all these snacks are really, really fun. I also do want to try the casino ones with that, that tastes like that fruit they said. So yeah, this was another great box. As I said, this one was from Peru. If you would like to get a box, this is a really fun gift. I know a couple of my subscribers have said that they ordered it as a gift for someone. It's a really fun surprise. I have friends who love getting mysterious candies too, candies and snacks. So it could be a really great gift. You can do a one-time box, or you can get the subscription. And as I said, if you use my code down below, you will get a 15% off the first box that you buy. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope you love the Faded Mates Recs that I gave you. Give me a thumbs up if you made it all the way to the end, and we'll see you next time. Bye.